Good evening. Now, in the wake of the New Glenn explosion a few days ago, a lot of questions are being asked about NASA's lunar timeline and Amazon Leo's ability to fly their constellation. We're going to be talking about that. We have two different views of the SpaceX IPO. One loves it, but wish it were a bit cheaper, and the other says avoid it at all costs. So we'll get into that. SpaceX, again, gets despite all that, a Space Force contract. Firefly is also doing an IPO and revealed their pricing. Observable Space raises $90 million and wins a Space Force contract themselves. Revolve Space enters the on-orbit servicing market. Virgin Galactic resumes flights and pilot training. FAA documents outline SpaceX's plans for a Starfell re-entry vehicle. Another one enters the race. NASA's moon-based plans puts Huntsville at the center of their lunar future. Anyone surprised by that? All that, plus our guests, Rod Pyle and Aggie Coburn. From the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is Thomas Andrew Olson, and this is The Unknown Quantity. And as you know, this program is brought to you by the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. What do? We champion and strengthen emerging space startups and space-adjacent enterprises worldwide through advisory, access, and advocacy. Our pitch events and world-class boot camps fortify startups to be better investor-ready. Now, a lot of our work, especially this podcast, is supported by our listeners and fans like you. So if you could kindly just go to cscf.space/support and click that plain as day donate button. A little in the tip jar each month makes a big difference. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends. Speaking of friends, my oldest space friend, Michael Lane, who just finished packing his mini totem pole for the trip east, is here with me. Michael, come on in, man.
Hey, how's things?
Hey, where do you find a mini totem pole? That's pretty amazing.
Well, we're in the Pacific Northwest, so we have a bunch of stuff like that. I am getting packed. I'm starting to kind of round up. For me, it's Wednesday morning is 4 o'clock in the morning start, 6 o'clock show up at the airport, and 8 o'clock get on a plane. And I forget what my time is landing. 3 o'clock, maybe? I forget what.
Something like that. Yeah. Even though you get that tailwind all the way, it's still, you also lose those 3 hours.
Those 3 hours, yeah.
Exactly. You're gone.
Yeah.
Me, I have to drive up. I'm hauling all that gear with me. So I'm leaving Central Florida just around the crack of dawn tomorrow. And tomorrow night, I will be in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
North Carolina, lovely.
That's the first 500 miles. And then the next day is another 300 and something. And that takes me to the hotel early afternoon on Wednesday. So we should be arriving at about the same time.
Terrific. That has got to be a great road trip. I've done the West Coast bunches of times, 20 times maybe, but hardly ever on the East Coast. So I'm a little envious of that road.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I got my favorite Z car. I'm going, So I gotta do it while I still can.
Sure. Top down and cruising. Good for you.
Yep.
Fun. All right, what do we got?
What do we got? Oh my God. Let's see. The big question, obviously, people are asking is, okay, what happens now that New Glenn blew up on the pad? Because a lot of folks were depending on this, and it just really does make it interesting. We're so used to things being kind of successful. When something fails that badly,
right?
You're kind of going, okay, let's look at the dependencies and how they, and how that's going to affect a whole bunch of people's plans going forward. And the two biggest ones are obviously Amazon Leo and NASA themselves.
Yeah.
So,
not trivial, right? Timing of this was we finished our show, and about 40 minutes after that, this is on Thursday, we finished our show on Thursday, and then the whole launch pad blew up, right?
Yeah, the whole thing is just like, yeah.
So it's the launch pad that's really the problem. Everybody's focusing on the rocket. Our beloved Sean points out that's like, just because the rocket is gone and the landing pad or the launch pad is rubble doesn't change the demand. Like the demand signal is still the same, but now it's hyper constrained. So,
and it's not just the deal about the launch pad. There's still, of course, the fact that with a major failure like that, the FAA is going to start digging in a lot to figure out exactly what went wrong. It's not going to take weeks. It's probably going to take months.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big setback, and bigger than everybody's letting on right now at a very crucial time for, the whole business of going to the moon and beating China to the moon, and a lot of things are important going on.
Right.
And this is not a trivial thing.
It's right. It's got national security implications. The politics of, do we land on the moon before China? Do we land on the moon before this administration is over? Big questions right now.
Yeah.
We don't have answers.
I guess time will tell. I don't know what else to say about that, because obviously, with a lot of other things going on, Elon is sitting over there. Well, gee, too bad.
I don't.
I
am happy to throw Musk under a bus. Right? We do not get along. We're not buds. But I don't think he's the kind that holds a grudge. Like of all the things that my 3 encounters with him, we're not beer drunken friends. We barely know each other. He wouldn't know my name for any reason, but he doesn't come across to me as the kind of guy who would hold a grudge. So,
but he is a guy who will see his opportunity and take it.
Sure, that for sure.
Yeah.
From the chat, I'm reminded that we've already beaten China because we've already landed on the moon. So, all right. So, Space Race 2.0. 2.0. It's still
right.
All right. Anything else to say about Blue?
Not really. But you got something
frustrating, but there was a great post that went around LinkedIn showing the mushroom cloud. I haven't seen very many mushroom clouds in my life, but the mushroom cloud of that was pretty remarkable.
All
right, what do we got?
Okay, next up, there's a couple of things kind of back to back with the SpaceX IPO.
Sure.
And one likes it sort of, and the other one doesn't like it at all. And so, like I say, these guys, the retail traders are not happy with the $2 trillion price tag. Again, otherwise, they like the thing, but it's like, wow.
Right.
But when Alan Boyle writes it, I gotta look at that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a legit question, right? 90 plus years of revenues at their current level. That's an important caveat. 90 years of revenue at the current level to justify it. That's the thing, right? Is it fair to say the revenues are going to plateau? I don't think it is, but so that number of 90 years comes down, but how far? Where does it cross over to become useful? There's all sorts of rumors, and I'm not trying to be the guy who's pushing rumors. The Tesla acquisition is definitely gaining traction. A lot of analysts are looking at that. A new one that I had not considered, it was completely missed me, was SpaceX buying Intel with their 10,000 engineers, 30 years of design experience, and thousands and thousands and thousands of patents. That was one I was not watching, and I thought that was interesting. So, does that justify their 93 years of current revenue? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what one guy said. I would definitely buy it in a heartbeat at 500 billion, but if it's going to, at 1.7 trillion, I'm not so sure. Enough. The kid's 32 years old. It's like, well, okay. That's a good attitude to have.
Right.
If you can get it, good for you. Move on. Yeah.
Would I put my mom into it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Your kid is quite a bit younger. Like that maybe makes some sense. Sean's kids maybe make some sense.
Well, it was interesting though, because there's something that's not linked to here, but I just couldn't fit it in. Yeah. It was a pension fund in Denmark who said they weren't going to get into SpaceX because they didn't like the fundamentals.
Okay.
And so these guys are managing a big pension fund, I guess, for the country of Denmark.
Yeah,
we're not going on this one.
And they've got time, right? Like in that case, they've got time, multi-generation perspective. I would have thought that it would be really good opportunity for pension funds and family offices.
Interesting. We'll see how it does after the fact. Maybe they'll get into it then.
Yeah,
depends on how this thing sails, up and down. But this is the Fortune article. The top analyst says we recommend that you avoid it. A guy named David Trainer. He brands the valuation as truly out of this world, and instructs folks and funds to stay away from an investment that the basic math stamps as beyond lousy, as he puts it. He says there's bad corporate governance. The proceeds are already spoken for on the S1. Right. Its profitability is the worst among all its competitors right now. And the starting valuation is just too rich for investors ever to make money right away.
Yeah.
So there's always that one guy,
Right. I've been kind of watching on the sidelines of this for the last couple of months as this has unfolded, and I finally came down on the side that I would. I'm not putting money into this, right? So I made that position really clear a while ago, but I probably would, if I had some spare bucks, I probably would put a small amount onto this on the just in case. But I'm really watching the other parts of this sector, because they're all going to get a bump, and I think you're going to make money on the other ones faster than you're going to make money on this one.
Yeah, is the halo effect.
Yeah.
From all this is going to help everybody else in the sector.
Right.
So,
well,
a reason to kind of be bullish about it, even a little bit.
And the steamroller rolls on, right? They just pulled another $4 billion contract from Space Force. So that's good, right? I mean, how many $4 billion contracts do they have to earn in order to justify this price?
Yep. And that is the next link. So we've mentioned that. So we don't have to spend a lot of time with that one. But it's I mean, all this stuff is going on, all the hype, all of everything, and then all of a sudden, SpaceX just got another $2 billion contract from so and so, and another $4 billion contract from Space Force.
Right.
Why you're talking about they're having earnings problems?
Right.
They don't seem to be having them this year.
No. I can think of $10 billion worth of contracts. Anthropic, 2 from Space Force. Anthropic is a $15 billion contract. $15 billion.
Yeah.
So, There's money coming in.
Yeah. Although interestingly, Sean just mentions here, they thought he was a fool with a rocket company 20 years ago. So the song has not changed. Just the people singing it.
True that. Yeah.
All right. So let's skip that one lake because we've already talked about it.
Yep.
Let's just go straight to Firefly Aerospace. I barely remember that they also were doing a public offering.
Yeah.
And their offering price is $48 a share. And they've granted the underwriters a 30-day option to purchase up to an additional 1.8 million of common stock at the public offering price, less underwriting discounts and commissions. It's expected to close
today.
Today.
Huh. Yeah, I was not paying attention to that. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I wasn't paying attention to it. I wonder what happened.
Yeah. And of course, the usual suspects are all a part of this. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Jefferies, Wells Fargo, Stanley, Baird, Deutsche Bank, all those guys, co-managers. But it's actually happening. It happened today. I closed the business today. Whatever's going to come in is going to come in. So
so they're already publicly traded, and this was new money they were asking for.
Yep.
But I'm not seeing any
purpose.
I'm not seeing any news about what actually happened.
Right. Or what they're going to use it for.
Right. Yep. That's still a lot, though. 4 million shares at $48. That adds up.
Mm-hmm.
That's $192 million. You can do a lot with that.
You could.
All right. So we don't have a lot of information. Maybe we'll try and get some on Thursday. But Thursday we have other things on our mind, so we might not come back to this.
Well, yeah, we're gonna be discussing that Wednesday afternoon and evening, exactly what we want to talk about on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because it's a different kind of show. We got 2 hours going on, and you're going to have an audience. People are going to want to ask questions, hopefully. We're going to have a lot of people, a lot of our the business track and other places. People are going to be coming in and giving us a little tease of what they're going to be talking about on Friday. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be an interesting program as well. But then we might have time to talk about some major topics. And so between you and I, when we get together, we should probably think about which ones of those we should bring up.
Yeah.
I'm
going to post Jason and Joe's comments. Right, they just got the Firefly contract, and I especially like this one from Joe. Not bad for a company that was nearly dead a few years ago. Yeah. So both of those things are real, right?
And well, you land on the moon and you stay up.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You land on the moon and you stay upright.
And you stay up. Short and squat always wins the race, doesn't it?
All right, let's move on. Okay. Observable space. What
well, the next one's there's not much to talk about in these two because they're both space news, and they won't let you in unless you pay them a bunch of money. But hey, I mean, I'd never heard of these guys before. I guess because they're mostly a defense contractor. It develops optical systems for laser comm and space domain awareness. And they raised $90 million and secured a U.S. Space Force contract all at the same time.
Yeah, that's good. Good for them. This one's a little outside my scope. I don't know that much about them. It says they're they're out of Adrian, Michigan, and plan to expand with a new facility in Detroit.
Okay.
They're at Spacecraft Engineering and Design Labs in Los Angeles. Cool. All right, moving on.
Right. Next one, an Italian-Dutch company called Revolve Space. I guess a French in-orbit services provider company called Infinite Orbit selected its solar array drive assemblies The device is used to manage and optimize solar energy capture for the firm's geostationary orbit, in-orbit servicers. So I guess this is another example, of course, of sovereign capability being built.
I was having a conversation the other day about ITAR. You made some really interesting points about ITAR several times about how we owned most of the market and then ITAR happened and then everybody else built their own. How does that go?
They started building their own capacity because they couldn't buy from the United States anymore.
Right. That's
because of ITAR.
Yeah.
That's the other way around. All of a sudden, certain companies were not allowed to export, technically.
Right.
That's what ITAR does. And so now, all of a sudden, their Italian customers, for example, these component manufacturers in New England had contracts with Italian service providers. They were providing all these components, and all of a sudden, ITAR pops up and told them they can't sell those offshore anymore. They're jumping through a bunch of hoops, and the Italian customers are going, well, now what the F do we do? You know?
Right. Yeah.
So they said, okay, I guess we're going to start building our own capacity and build these things ourselves. And that's just one example.
And then when I see a deal like this, Revolve Space and Infinite Orbits, I feel like that's a direct result of, the ripple effects of ITAR when I see something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. This one actually has words, so we can talk about it. I love those. Yeah. Virgin Galactic resumes spaceship flights for pilot training, at least. So they've got what they call a Delta class suborbital spaceship. It's supposed to debut this summer. And it's also returned its first generation Spaceship 2 vehicle Unity to flight for pilot and ground team training. It's been grounded for 2 years. 2 years next week. And so I guess they're going to be working on getting back into business. I haven't flown anything in a couple of years.
No. They had a 22% price jump today based on this article. So that's kind of fun. I'm looking at their year. They were at, $2.82 this time last year, and they closed today at $7.50. Yeah. So somebody thinks that's a good sign, and that just happened. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Now, here's an interesting thing. This is...
Well, I want to remind everybody, right? Blue Origin closed down their line of quote-unquote tourism spacecraft. So the only game in town is Virgin.
Right.
So
in this country.
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
Important caveat.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike those 6 Chinese companies that are all vying to pick up some of that market that we're not going to mention.
Right.
Put it out of your mind. It never happened.
Good point.
Okay. Now here's one. This is interesting. This is I don't know how it looks at your end, but for me, it's another space news article.
Yep.
But I've got the whole thing.
Oh, well, good.
I've got the whole thing, and this is just and we've been talking a lot about down mass,
right?
And the competition now there's being engaged in by people to, build a lot of different kinds of spacecraft to make reentry vehicles and bring back that down mass. And never occurred to us to think that SpaceX might want to get in that game too, along with everybody else.
Right.
Oh God, because this is like some of the old days in tech sector during the OS wars. Somebody builds something really good, and then Microsoft buys it, and and either takes over the whole market or they completely screw it up.
Right.
And so usually the latter, but with Microsoft, that's been my experience, 31 years in IT. But the thing is, now it didn't even occur to me to think that with SpaceX being so busy with everything else, oh, let's do a down mass vehicle too, just for shit.
While we're at it, right.
Let's just, yeah. And Sean says, well, SpaceX buys it for SpaceX use.
Yeah, right.
If you want to use our down mass vehicle, you also have to use our rocket,
right,
to get it up there,
right.
Yeah.
There's pretty much no business that looks lucrative that they can't go after right now. Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Blue Origin just handed them more opportunities
more
to do
runway. Yeah.
Yeah. So that does change. And going back to that topic, that does change what decision NASA is going to make now. Because by the end of this year or early next, they're supposed to be actually doing some live testing of Blue Moon.
Yep.
And maybe SpaceX's version, as well, and testing it in orbit with Artemis 3. So how does Blue Moon get up there?
Yeah.
To do the test?
Good question. Sean has a comment. They don't have to be a monopoly. The market just made them one, right? Like the only game in the only competition they had just got sidelined for.
Yep.
Who knows? 6 months, 18 months, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's big. And then Joe at Cube is talking about SpaceX is already the leader in down mass. It's called Dragon. So good response. Thanks, Joe.
Yep. Okay.
All right. What do we got?
Well, anyway, this last one is just this. It's already up there. Sean put it up there.
Yeah, I see it.
It's an article basically saying that most of NASA's moon-based plans, it's all going through Huntsville. They put Huntsville at the center of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that does not surprise me, really. Huntsville has a lot of facility behind it. It has a lot of history behind it. It's got a lot of brain trust behind it.
Right.
And I'm sure Bill Nelson wouldn't be upset about seeing that happen.
Right.
The former administrator, he was a big fan. That was his district, wasn't it? When he used to be a senator. Yep. So that doesn't surprise me, but and I guess a lot of jobs are coming there now. A lot of things are moving in. Blue Origin has been moving in.
Space Command is there.
Space Command is moving in.
I don't know if anybody remembers, but that's where NASA's Advanced Concepts office is located, is out of Huntsville. So the folks working on nukes in orbit are there. The ones working on lots of places are working on electric engines. The really fast ones going to Mars are there. They've got a bunch of stuff. Their interstellar working group is based out of there. They have some real capabilities, and it's convenient that it's located right in between Florida and Texas because they have to work together. So I love NASA Ames. It's my favorite. It's my favorite NASA center. But being out there on the West Coast is not helpful to it. Even though they have some really strong connections to the Clementine program and the LRO, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. So NASA Ames doesn't really have a real role here, not the same way that Marshall does. So no surprise there. It's a good plan.
Okay. Well, on that note, we should probably get to the main topic of the night. Right. I haven't heard that our guests have arrived yet, but we can bring them in as soon as they do, because we're all talking about the same thing. This is supposed to be the International Space Development Conference preview show.
Right. Yep.
So we certainly know what we can talk about until our guests arrive.
Sure.
Like starting.
It does not look like our guests are here unless Sean's got no news that we don't have. Nope. Nothing. Okay.
Okay.
So our two beloved guests are not here, so we're going to dance and tap dance for a minute.
That's fine. It's not really a tap dance either. I mean, look, I've been working on this project for like 7-8 months.
Right.
So I kind of know what's going to be happening.
Well, let's kind of take it in order here. So what's happening Thursday and Friday and beyond?
Okay. Well, for us, because it's all about us, Mike. All about you and me. That's why we're doing this. Thursday afternoon at the main conference center hotel, which is the Hilton Tyson's Corner / McLean in DC area. There's a lovely hotel. I guess we'll find out. I saw the floor plan. That's all I've seen. Actually seen the physical thing. But and for those of you who might be attending, watching tonight, we're in, I think it's called the Istanbul room on the main floor. You and I will be hosting a 2-hour live presentation of the unknown quantity. 2 hours live with a real audience.
Yep.
So it's going to be a lot of give and take and a lot of shouting matches and
super fun last year. Last year we did it for an hour and a half and we actually ran out of time. We had to turn people away. So we added more time. We got put on the schedule this time. We weren't on the schedule last time.
It's actually on the schedule.
Yeah.
Remember that last minute advertising blitz I was doing? I just printed out a flyer to put in everybody's packet.
Yep.
Well, it worked. People showed up. But now it's on the actual schedule. And so we'll be talking about a lot of interesting topics that I think are important to anybody. All the, we'll do a little more depth about those big 50,000 foot level issues that we don't get to spend enough time on.
Right.
Normally over the course of a regular show. So we'll do that. We've got I think it's maybe 12, 13 people that are either attending the main stage panel on Friday or the business track all the rest of the day. I've invited all of them to come and give us a little tease, live online for what they're going to be doing on Friday.
I think that's going to be super fun. Inviting other people in. What time is that thing happening?
Oh, the show?
Yeah.
2 to 4
there it
p.m.
is. All right. Podcast. There it is. 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the Istanbul room. A 2-hour special podcast of the popular show, The Unknown Quantity. As always, a show that lives at the intersection of space and money, entrepreneurship, investment, policy, news, and the occasional tomfoolery. Very nice.
Yep. And Wes is saying, bring it. This is where I met y'all.
It is, right? It is.
2 to 4 p.m., Jason. 2 to 4 p.m. Yes, Luis, it is about the hat. The hat is coming.
Yep.
I wanted to get a new one. I just didn't have time. The only place I could even shop for a good Panama hat was all the way out in Daytona Beach. And I just didn't have 3 extra hours in the last 5 days to be able to do that. So you're stuck with this one, folks. But okay.
And then what else are we going to do? All right. So that's on Thursday. We're going to bring in, kind of a friends and family chat. So that'll be super fun.
Yep. Okay. So again, they're here. Our guests are here.
Yep.
And so let's, we can talk about other stuff later. Come on in. But we have tonight. Oh, they're all the same. Oh no, they're on the same camera. Oh my God.
Okay. Together.
Together. Cool. Okay. So we are blessed to have Aggie Coburn from CEC Global Events. She and her husband Mike are the ones who work tirelessly behind the scenes to put this whole event together of ISDC. And with us also is another key player in all this, Rod Pyle, author, journalist, editor-in-chief at Astra Magazine. And I love this guy. I love this one. Named in the top 100 men in aerospace at aviation to follow on LinkedIn. I didn't know there was an award for that.
No.
Whoever knew such a thing.
Right.
That's great.
Hey, look, it's the best award to buy. Okay,
Well, what's ISDC looking like from your eyes? You're on site already, getting prepped for it next week.
Right now, it looks like a big empty hotel.
We are on site. We arrived a day or so ago. It looks like a big empty hotel, as Rod said, that we will completely be filling up in the next couple of days. Looks like about 1,000 attendees. That includes many hundreds of students, a lot from Eastern Europe, Romania, and then elsewhere in the world, as well as some U.S. students, hopefully close to 100 U.S. students this year.
Great.
And busy place. We're going to have all kinds of things going on, lots of keynotes, lots of breakout sessions, tracks. Tom knows all about that.
Yep.
So a lot of activity, a lot of things will be happening. And we're just getting ready now. We're unpacking boxes, unloaded about 30 boxes so far, and getting everything all set to go.
Amazing. Who I really have always loved and admired the student education programming. I know that that's kind of off topic for our show, the intersection of money and space, but just always wanted to just throw out some kudos to those folks, because it really makes the whole character of the conference. It's different from anything else that's out there. So kudos to those folks.
Yeah, thank you. It is different in the fact that we have many hundreds of students, and they come in from all over the world, 20 different countries. Yeah. And they're, most of them are the award winners. They're here because they've won competitions in their countries. They've won competitions that we run throughout the world. And so these are a lot of really, really smart high school students, occasionally junior high school and college students. And they're really in space. They want a future in space. They want a career in space. And they're really dedicated. And we've got great poster sessions going on. They get to speak to the community, which is wonderful for them. It's an experience for them to actually speak to people in the space industry. And they really grow and learn a lot. And it's funny, they come back and lots of them are our volunteers now. They're in college, they're working, and they're still coming back from all over the world and volunteering to help us, which is really cool. About 6 of them showed up in the last day or so, the volunteers. They're all working now, they're all in their careers now, and they still come back to the conference to help with the other students that are here. So it is really cool. And it does make our conference very different from a lot of others.
Yeah, sure does. What? Name some names. Give me some special guests. I know we've got luncheon speakers and dinner speakers and all sorts of cool folks you don't get to see much.
So we got Harrison Schmidt from Apollo 17, the only geologist to go to the moon. We have Jerry Griffin, who is a flight director for all the Apollo missions and also the director of the Johnson Space Center. We have Michael Lopez Alegria, who's an astronaut we've all heard of. I think now he's the second most spacewalked guy of the American astronaut. For a long time, he held the record. We have Artie Holomani, who is the director of UNUSA for the UN, the United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs. We have Dr. Lindy Elkins Tanton, who is the PI on the Psyche mission to the metal asteroid. Your old pal, Jeffrey Manber. Everybody knows Jeffrey. Oops.
Yeah.
Do that.
I'm going to that lunch.
I mean, Jeffrey, of course, he founded NanoRacks and later sold that to Voyager and built the Bishop airlock and all that. But the cool thing about him is, at least for me, when new space was barely a gleam in our eye back during the shuttle year, we've been sold in the late 70s, early 80s, this bill of goods about, the shuttle's going to fly 52 times a year and it's a truck to space and it's cheap and affordable, reliable, and no, those things didn't turn out to be the case. Spacecraft, but not those things. So, we're kind of in this new space doldrums in a lot of ways. Jeffrey really took it to the mat and made deals with the Russians and opened the Office of Outer Commerce, I think it was called, under the Reagan administration. So he's a real buccaneer. David Brin, the science fiction author. If you know David, you know that he's very intelligent, very visionary, and very opinionated. So he's going to have some
very outspoken. Yep.
We got a number of other astronauts. We got Hoot Gibson, Susan Kilrain, Stephen Hawley. Then we have just Jim Green, who's always a real crowd pleaser.
He's a great speaker.
We have our president. Oh, he is sensational. I think my talk was it last year. He did starting the metallic cores to have a dynamo to terraforming Mars.
People, yeah,
Areas, and the crowd in there, the heads are spinning like what? But he does it really, really well. And it was a very profound talk. We got Isaac Arthur, our president, Pascal Lee, planetary scientist, Keith Cowing, another minions, and me, among you folks. So
you also have quite a few opinions, right? Yeah. It's great. It's a terrific lineup.
But I have a few too, in case you may have noticed. But you know what? I really try to, in my tracks now, try to keep it toned down a little bit because I want to get through the track in one piece. And not be F Stones,
ugly Q&A at the end, right? It's like, Tom, at the beginning of the thing, are you sure you want to? Yeah, sure, why not?
And there's tracks.
Do you want to go through this?
Yeah, crazy.
Going on.
Did you guys want to talk, or shall we just keep going?
We'll keep going.
No, go ahead. No,
you guys can keep going. I want to bring you in here because you can talk about all the stuff that we haven't been paying any attention to.
Right.
Because I've been working, me personally, been working on 3 other things, and I want to get them perfect. And so for you guys, and so everything else is a blur to me. And so please bring it on.
This year
the
we have
moon thing, the Mars thing, space, solar, whatever you're doing. What are the tracks? Don't we have a record number of tracks this year?
20. We have 20 tracks this year. It's the record or a new record, but it's.
I think there's been more years past, but not recently.
A long time ago. Yeah, long time ago.
But they're all jam packed. I tried getting on 3 different tracks, and I thought I might be able to kind of charm Madhu with the moon track. He's like, I love you, kid, but this has been full for months. Like the moon track is the most popular track. I mean, according to him, it's the most popular track because everybody's talking about it.
No, but it is big because of what's going on this year.
Yeah.
We do have
I can see it from my own track. I had a waiting list. I had a waiting list for people who wanted to get on my track. That's never happened.
Yep.
This is when you start charging money.
And hope they all showed.
This is when you just start charging the money to come. We have an AI and space track, which we haven't had before. We have one called Biospace, and we've done space health before. I'm not sure how
it's
this
a
one's
crossover.
different.
Yeah.
Interplanetary infrastructure, which is mostly about transportation, but also ISRU and so forth. Interstellar, crossing cosmic distances.
Crossing cosmic distances.
Oh, very good. Yep. Yeah, I think it says it right there. We have the Launchpad talks, which are the quick 10-minute, you're in, you're out, next ones. But
and all different topics.
Because it's really all over the place. Living in space, which is part of our space macro track, if you will. What is Many Roads to Space about?
And that is a lot of different conversations. So what happens is we had 300 abstracts submitted. Just to give you an idea, we had 300 abstracts submitted, and there were some that were really good but didn't fit in any one particular track. So there's a couple of tracks there, one of them being Many Roads to Space, which is kind of a mixture of very short talks, but different talks. These are all things that didn't quite fit in elsewhere. So you get a different angle, and some really interesting ones in there. We get some students in there as well to give them an opportunity to do some talks. So it's a mixture of a lot of things. Why are you looking at that?
No, I'm listening. I'm fascinated and flabbergasted. Okay. We got the Mars track, which is always very popular. Pascal chairs that, and he does a bang-up job. We have Moon, planetary defense, very important. Don't want crashing down on our heads. Talk a little bit about the Rising Star.
Yeah, we've got some tracks that are totally students, and Rise is one of those. So it's very student focused. The fact that we have 400 students, 500 students there, we got to keep them busy. So we have a lot of student sessions for them. So we got a couple of tracks that are more focused on students. Everybody's welcome to them, but they are, they're a little bit different. And most of the time it's the students that attend. We also have morning and afternoon plenary sessions that are focused on students, but I've seen a lot of, instead of tracks, they go into those sessions because that's where a lot of the astronauts speak.
Mhm.
You know, where they might talk to the adults for 10 or 15 minutes, they'll go in there and talk for 45 minutes to the students.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of adults who want to go and hear the 45-minute talk from an astronaut.
Okay.
So, you know, you'll see 80% students in there, but you'll catch a lot of other people wandering in and out of there as well. And
I'll be
that's,
there.
yeah, and there's a couple that are just focused on our students. Okay.
Mhm.
Owen,
Space business,
we know who runs
self-explanatory.
that.
We know who runs
What's
that.
that one about? Wait, what's
All
that
about
one
Tom Olson.
No, it's not all about me.
Not
I've
about
got
him.
10 people in there. It's all about them.
But it's the one that should be the most popular. We have space elevators, space health, which is always interesting because that's a ever widening question as we go further out. Space policy, space of course, space solar power. That one's been around quite a long time.
Always that.
And
You guys
spaceport.
have owned that one. Nobody has the same longevity on that topic as NSS. So
Yeah, and it's 2 full days. And then there's a competition that's run through Space Canada.
yeah,
And so they have their 3, actually there's going to be 10. This year it's going to be a little cramped because there's 10 student teams that have come into their semifinals.
okay.
10 of them for 10 minutes each session on Friday morning. So it's a 2-day session on power, but 1/4 of it are these teams that are coming in. And hopefully 3 of them will be here. The rest will be in through Zoom or some other system that we're going to use. And from this, they pick the 3 top. I think it's the 3 top. And then those go on to the finals, the final competition for space solar power. So it's a pretty intense morning.
And arriving at this ISDC is your next issue of
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Just
Why
get out
should we
there.
care about that, Ron?
All right, it's Artemis this one. So
yeah.
here it's free. So
Yep.
I didn't hear you guys. I didn't hear you guys say this because I just asked. Yeah, all the students are coming in. Are they still doing that habitat competition?
is that the one
They
that
design a
doing?
space station and
Is that the
Yeah.
Rothflat
Oh,
prize?
design.
not
Yeah.
Rothblatt. No, this
It's a design competition. Yes, they're still
the
doing
design competition. Yeah, they're
There's
still
about
doing it. Okay.
200 students who come in for the design competition. There's
Yep.
a few dozen who come in for each of the other competitions. So that's how we end up with, many, many hundreds of students. Because
I just noticed. He said it, Rothblatt. So yes, we are still doing the Rothblatt competition.
Okay.
Space settlement
Okay.
our time that Saturday afternoon. The 3 finalists come, pitch their hearts out, and then the room votes for the final winners.
Okay.
So we really enjoy that one. And Martine won't be there this year, but Gabriel will be.
Gabriel. Okay, cool. Fun.
we keep it really busy.
Yeah, yes, yes. It's always difficult when you get the schedule in your hand and you're circling and starring and I know these people, I want to hear this is new, trying to bounce between what's scheduled against us, right? Because the business track is scheduled against other good tracks that are important, right? So
Not
that's always
as
tricky.
important.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I always feel like because like the Mars and the Moon things. I mean, it's always that's all cool stuff, and a lot of the cool kids like to go to those things. Is saying, and I've been telling folks, well, how are you going to pay for all that?
Right.
We talk about, we talk about the legal aspects. We talk about the economic aspects, and we've been talking about this all the last 8 months on our show. Is how do you actually build a cislunar economy?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've got some great speakers ready to talk about all those things. And so I hope folks show up and check it out.
Yeah.
They will show up.
So it's not just as easy as printing more money? Is that what you're saying?
So far, no.
No.
If it was, we'd be doing that.
That's right.
There's also a lot of money to be made in the, that's what you keep hearing. It's the next billion-dollar industry.
Trillion.
So
Mhm.
trillion. So there's a lot of people very excited about that aspect of it too. And how could they become a part of the business side of it and be one of those companies that makes billions of dollars or millions of dollars?
Or
So,
trillions.
so there's a lot of interest in the business side of it from that aspect. So I think you'll do just fine. I think you'll have a lot of people in your room, but there's a lot of things going on, and some people say too many. I have heard that comment too, like maybe we need to cut back and have a little bit less. At one point many years ago, before we were really involved, they had 10 tracks at the same time, and I walked into some of those rooms and there were 5 people. Got to fill those rooms. It's the best thing to do for the speech, thing to do for everybody. So we stopped that whole 8-track system. We have 4 tracks going on. And for the most part, occasionally 5 if there's one focused on students.
So the choices are a little less painful for everybody.
Yeah, and it means that the rooms are all full. You're not going to walk into a room and see, I was begging people to go into some of these rooms. Some of them were pretty funky topics too. You can imagine when we had that many topics. They were pretty weird. But I won't mention.
Don't speak out of church.
I won't mention which ones. But we don't do that anymore. They fill up.
Yeah. Well, and you've got such great speakers. That's always important. I'm going to post this question from the audience here from Wes. Is there a standard for how much time is padded for the Q&A and the tracks? Tom, do you want to answer that question for the business track?
Okay. Well, in the case of Wes personally, you've got no time for him. We're just not, because that will just, it was funny because last year he was the last guy to present, and people were it's getting late. It's almost 6 o'clock. We're all kind of going. He amped up the room so much that the Q&A was still spilling out into the hallway while we were trying to go find wine somewhere. Right. It was like so. So Wes doesn't have to worry about that in that regard.
Well, but he wants to know how much time.
On average, we usually go for about 20 plus minutes for the presentation, about 5 minutes for Q&A at the end. These are half-hour things. They're blocks of 30 minutes.
But it's hard. And I mean, depending on the speaker, you get somebody like a Schmidt or a Griffin, and they for 40 minutes.
For days.
Oh my God. Challenging.
I tend to go 15 and 15 because people always have a lot of questions for me. So
we recommend try to give them 5 or 10 minutes, but there's some speakers that don't give any time for questions. They just they get 20 minutes, an hour, they take the whole thing. So it really varies, and it varies on the track. We were just saying moon track, who can ask questions? They're just cramming them all in, and it's going on and on.
Our guys, they have a lot to say.
My Q&A.
Our guys, they have a lot to say. It's a complicated topic sometimes, like space law, and you can barely pack what you need to say into the time slot that you have. And so, I wish I could give you all an hour, but
Well, that's one reason I like to, for instance, keep panels small, because I want to give each find themselves and answer questions and crosstalk forth. So it's good to keep the panels small, and then of course, with luck, you have time for Q&A too.
Sure. And of course, there are those lovely dinner events. My God, you have the NSS always does the awards dinner, and the governor's dinner Friday, Saturday night.
Yes,
that's a must attend for me.
Yeah, we've got a lot of awards that are given out at the conference as well. So we've got to fill those in, those fit in before the dinners for the most part. So we go through a whole chain of awards before you get to your speaker.
I have a special request. Tom's had a chance to pitch his session now. Sunday morning, we're doing the Space 2.0 plenary every year. This year it's going to be on lunar basis. And we got Jerry Griffin coming in. Oh no, Jerry had to bail. We have Jim Green and Pat Lee. Pascal's got early base.
Yes,
base. So
he's correct. I'm just going to tell you that.
We're supposed to have personally, I haven't heard a confirmation that yet. But, it's hard to get people to come in for the Sunday plenary at 8:30 in the morning, because the night before, they're all up in Gary Barnhart making Romulan egg and passed
what
out.
are you talking about?
Going up and down from floor to floor 3 hours. So I was hoping I can get people to show up, more people to show up, because we really do have a good time that session. And then, of course, that springboards into the whole lunar track. So,
But we also have
Sunday.
We also have a party Saturday night.
That's what I'm talking about.
No,
that's
it's not just Gary. It's the
Oh, we have our
party.
party.
We have our party Saturday night after the
Oh,
dinner.
that's true.
So we have a party that's probably 8% kids, students, but
Right.
there are not kids,
The
they're
young
adults who have a great time
Mhm.
partying. But there are also adults there. And if they're not there, they're probably up in Gary's room. So yeah, getting them anywhere at 8:30 in the morning is really tough on that Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Well, I think the key is just to offer lots of fluids at 8:30 in the morning, saying, "Look, we need Gatorade, whatever
Right.
those special
There you go.
Lots of
That's a good idea.
put in the water, get your mimosa, whatever
Right.
it takes
Yeah.
to get your electrolytes back in balance, and free aspirin. Here you go. Whatever it takes. Come on in. You can do it.
It's a good ideas.
It's not a
Yeah.
bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. We serve some mimosas on Sunday morning, more people there. That is,
Well,
that is true.
Maybe a Bloody Mary. We could probably get the hotel to come up with some creative
this
options.
is the hair of the dog approach, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It works for me.
At least replenish the electrolytes. Something. Give them a little,
Yeah.
offer a little boost.
Gatorade or
It's going to be
mimosa.
good.
You have a
Right.
choice.
So we're down to our last 5 minutes, and this is a kind of an odd question, but we always ask, what does the future look like, right? What does 5 years look like? What does 25 years look like? And NSS has been around for a while. Y'all have
47 years.
the ripple effects of NSS are uncountable, but
Yes.
enormous, right? So what does the next 5 years look like? What does the next 25 years
Well,
look
I'll just say that since I first won my 8th grade science fair and I got a book coupon, and the first book I bought was Project by Werner von Braun, which was published in German in 1949 and English in 1953. Yeah. And Mars is only about years away. So Mars is only about 10 years away. No.
like?
It's better than fusion.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God! Talk about chasing. Yeah. Although somebody mentioned on the podcast the other day of mine about a company that just got a bunch of government contracts for fusion. I don't remember the name of them. There's
Several of them.
grant contracts for something that we don't have yet. So I'm not sure about that one. What's the future look like?
The moon.
We're going to be old and gray and doing
Yes.
ISDC until we're on walkers.
No.
That's our future.
The moon next few years, definitely. And Mars, 20 years. 20 years away.
I'm going to hard disagree with both of y'all. I think Mars. I am not a Martian. I am not, but I think Mars is going to happen faster than people expect, because one of the biggest Martians is about to have a giant war chest to focus on
Yes.
Mars.
That's
Yes,
true,
yes.
but he's
I
done a
think
big
that's a game changer.
he's done a big lunar pivot in the last 9 months.
He has.
Because
He
that's
has,
where
right.
his money is, and that's where it's going to come from.
I've made some fairly controversial predictions. This is your time to predict, so I want to hear what y'all have to say. But all right, so what about the moon? What about Mars? 5 years, 25 years. What are you thinking?
Well, it's interesting, all eyes are on the lunar South Pole, and we won't know until the robots get there whether or not we're going to show up and go, there isn't much water ice here. That would be a bad afternoon if that's. So, but we do know there's some there, at least the hydrogen measurements would indicate that. Fairly certain there's some in the permanently shadow regions down towards the lower and higher latitudes. So I think the moon, as I'm sure you've discussed endlessly on your podcast too, it offers great opportunity in terms of, at the very least, ISRU with water ice. I mean, there's ISRU with silicates and metals and everything else. But water ice is, of course, the great democratizer, because once you've got that, you can stop schlepping all this fuel up from the planet, just get enough to hop off the moon, tank up, and go live on sunny Mercury or wherever you're planning to go. So I'm very excited about that. That's not news to anybody who's listening to this podcast, but it is the great hope up there. Mars for me, I interviewed Gwynne Shotwell a few times, but this one time in 2019 for my Space 2.0 book pitch. And I said, close the business case on Mars for me, Gwynne. And the answers have been pretty programmatical up to that point. It's like, well, we're doing, it was what you would read on on their business plan. She took a long pause. She said stuff about, well, you'll be able to do it at the same price as a mortgage on a house and all that. But basically, she said, we're the railroad. We're not building the cities. But then later, of course, Elon came out and said he is building the cities. So I don't know about that one. All I know is I spent the better part of a month up the Arctic at about 88 degrees up at Pascal-Lee's Arctic base, which it's a Martian, it's a polar desert for all the world. You'd swear you're on Mars, except I can breathe and I'm not being roasted by radiation and I can go home when I'm ready in less than a year. And I thought, this is about as rough as it gets on Earth, but it's still way better than Mars. So it is going to be interesting. I think one of the discussions we don't have enough, and I'm sorry, I'm going off script a bit,
Go ahead.
is, the sortie missions versus the colonization, quote unquote. We don't use that word in the trade much anymore. We use settlement, but whatever you want to call it, the going there in large numbers to stay. We got a lot of homework to do.
Yep.
And you business guys have to figure out how other people can go up there and make money. And I haven't heard that.
We're working on it. That's what we're doing. We are working on
That
it.
is how Tom and I met, actually, was a Martian plan. But all right, we're at time, by the way.
Yep,
So
we're at time. But guys, Rod Pyle, Aggie Coburn, thank you so darn much for coming here on such short notice.
Thank you.
You guys are rocks that make ISDC happen every year. It's been a joy to have you.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
And definitely come to the live show. The live show on Thursday. I know you guys have a lot going on, but you should come by the live show.
We will come
I got
by.
it on the schedule.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep. We're going to come by
Cool.
the live show. Okay.
Cool. It'll be great to see you.
Take
See
care,
you.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.
See you soon.
Thanks for all your hard work. I don't know if you heard me, but thanks for all your hard work.
Well, no, it was great having them. We got a little better taste of what the conference is going to be. At this point, it's mostly for people who've already signed up. I doubt we're gonna put any new bums in the seats after tonight, but still, I always love to do we got a pregame show, and then we'll probably a week from Monday we'll do a postgame show of some kind. Or as you guys will, I might be on the road. I'm not sure because I'm leaving Monday the 8th. I'm going to my buddy's house up in Ohio, and so depending on when I get there and how I feel, kind of thing. But I want to make it. I want to do it. So, but if I leave early, if I don't get too blitzed on Sunday, I'll be fine. We'll do that.
Right.
And on that, we will see you Thursday between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern. Remember, set your clock. It's not the usual time. And so if you're not coming to the conference, you want to see what's going on, you want to meet everybody, that's going to be the place to go. 2 to 4 p.m. on Thursday. And for Michael Lane and Sean Key, I remain Thomas Andrew Olson. Keep watching the skies.